And action. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Because, well, we're at the Testing United conference reporting and having some fun with some of the presenters. Yesterday we were going to be streaming as well, doing some interviews and so much fun. But guess who got very bad jet lag and was not in a good place to do interviews? Welcome to day two, the day without tutorials, just talks, just action in the Testing United conference, reporting here from Vienna, Austria. And today I have with me one of the awesome presenters, also that came across the pond with, not with me, but also like me. We have our amiga Karime. Karime, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. This conference is having a lot of great presentations, and I'm really happy to be in Europe. For me, it's the first time, and I'm so excited to be here, so excited for my presentation. And also because yesterday, there were a lot of really nice presentations and topics about AI. So it was really nice. I hope today is going to be the same. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be even more because half day yesterday was being used on tutorials, which traditionally we don't get that many people. And we are busy training, which is kind of different from just learning and hearing what are the interesting talks that are going to be happening. But back to Karime, because we're not just talking about the conference.
Okay.
Yeah, she's super excited. And we're going to talk also about this, your first time in Europe and getting all jet lagged and getting a weird experience about the conference. Yeah, you can go through. Yeah, there's some people in the back being nervous, like, can I walk through? Yeah, they are not in camera. There's a lot of activity happening right now here. But I want to talk about our guest here, Karime. Karime, do you mind sharing with the audience who are you? What do you do? Why are you here in the Testing United conference? Why are you special?
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I am working right now as a senior director in IDT Corporation. And I am here because I always love to share. I was sharing my knowledge during different conferences this year. Also, I think we met before also in some conferences in Latin America, and I am really excited to be here. I think it's the first time that I'm in Europe
Mhm.
actually. So I was so happy to be part of this conference, to do this presentation and to talk about this great topic about the impact of AI on QA, which is something that is part of our life. And I think in all the different conferences, it's something that we must talk about, and we need to try to discover what the rest of the people is doing. So that was one of the main points that moved me to be part of this conference.
Mhm.
And also because, as I said before, I love to share. It's my passion to share knowledge and to network, to meet a lot of people. And I don't know, just being here, Austria is beautiful. Vienna, it's a really nice city. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy.
And I am really happy that you got really excited and happy to be here. Yes, I do agree. Vienna is a beautiful place, one of the top places to live in. Always they are winning this prize or contest. I don't know if it's a contest, but when you were mentioning, because you didn't talk that much about yourself, what do you do in terms of sharing, in terms of helping the community, and at work? What do you do? Why are you director? Are you like whipping people and
Yeah, I try not, but yeah, actually, in my position, in my job, I am actually trying to define some strategies. I am always reviewing or investigating about new tools, and also like trying to work with my guys. I am really passionate about working close to my people. I am really like a people person, right? People oriented person. I think that helping them to have like a safe work environment, it's something that actually moved me a lot. Besides all the technical aspects that we need to consider, even for a manual or an automation person, or even for performance, or anything that we need to do in terms of what we need to do in the role or as part of the QA. I think, the technical part is great, but also, all of this help or and support that you can give to your people, it's something that moved me a lot. I really like to work really close to my guys, understanding their needs, pushing them a little bit, for professional growth, and understanding which other things they can do. That's something that also I try to do. I try to work really close with my people. And besides all the management stuff with the people care, I also try to be hands-on with some specific tools, right? To
Mhm.
understand which tools can be used for what. Whenever I am proposing something to be used for any of my teams, I try to first try it at least, or understand how it works, and then try to see if this could be used or not for some of my teams. So it's more on the strategic side, but being really close to the people. That's something that really moved me a lot.
It's something cool because you have to be up to date on what is the technology, what are the new things, and to also, as you were saying, sharing it with the world, sharing it with your team. And I got caught a little bit on when you were mentioning that big concern for you is also to have a team that feels in a good environment, a safe environment. What would you say are the key elements for making an environment to feel safe, cool, or nice for them to be excited?
Yeah, I think first of all is to meet the people that you're working, right? You need to have like a close relationship. I remember at the beginning when I was reading a lot about leadership and, make this kind of companion to your people and understand their needs. I recall that my first one-on-one meetings were more like like a daily report, and the people was just there, sit, talking to me about I did this, and I had a blog with this, like a daily scrum meeting. And then with the time, we get the confidence to talk each other, and then suddenly the one-on-one conversations, I think, are the key for a strong relationship between you and the people that you're working with, because you can understand what is the motivation that this person has, which kind of things, for example, when there is some improvements needed, that
Mhm.
always are, there is always room for improvement. And when you have this kind of confidence, you can just talk with the person, and it's not going to be a problem to say, hey, you're great on this, but I think you can, push yourself a little bit more on this direction, and then having like better results. In terms of the team, you can have like a better results in terms of the productivity. But if you think about the person, right, the person is also going to feel motivated because they can push their own careers, and they feel that they had a person that is not actually controlling what they are doing, but is helping them to grow,
Mhm.
right? So that's something that I think it's really important, and I use it a lot, to try to use the one-on-one meetings, that 30 minutes slot with my guys, to always keep it, right, to never cancel it. If I had to move it, I talk to them, right? I'm not moving it suddenly. I'm like, hey, I need to move because I had this conflict. Is it okay for you to do this at this time? And I'm doing it because I want them to understand that that time, it's important for me and it's important for them, and I am not the owner for that time, for example. And I would say that after many years of working in that way, I can say that it's actually working, right? So you create this great relationship with people, you help them to grow. And also, it's not because I'm the boss, right? But in general, they are really open to talk to me, even about, these awkward conversations that, whenever they need something. And I think it's really, really nice to have that, or to create that like safe environment, work environment for them, because they can make mistakes, right? They can grow, and they can always go and ask for help if they need it. And if you think about the other side, that in general, from a company perspective, is going to be the productivity for your team, I would say that you can have like a high performing teams when they are feeling in a safe environment, because they know that they can make a mistake and there is no finger pointing in front of
Mhm.
everybody. And then, you will be the face when something goes wrong, and they will be the face when the things goes right. Right. So I think that's something really important. And that's something that I am always pushing to have with my people.
That's really cool, and especially on these one-on-ones and safe spaces to be talking to them to kind of motivate them. This balance that you mentioned, right? Like you are not being pressured, but I want to help you. I want you to try to grow in this direction, to try to do these activities. I don't know, all the multiple things that it's easy for the messages to get mixed up, right? And oh, she's forcing me to become
Yeah.
a. Have you got anything like that?
Yeah, not exactly, not directly, because I would say that nobody never tell me something like that. But I heard like rumors, right? Like somebody say that,
Ooh.
I am like pushing them, like I am pushing the people to do what I want, because I am kind of nice and they are always doing. Yeah, so some people tell me that doing jokes, but not exactly the people that I work with. But the rest of the guys from other teams, they say like, "Oh, you're so smart. You're moving them in that direction because you're creating that relationship." But no, it's not like that. So and I never received that kind of feedback that you made me do something that I didn't want.
No, no, and I think that's a good perspective because that means that they feel safe, that they don't feel forced or pushed,
Yeah.
and especially as you mentioned, you honor that you are going to have the one-on-ones. It's at a personal level, trying to establish a good connection. I think that feels very safe, and even in this, when you have like an awkward conversation, it doesn't have to be always work, work, work. That's really, really cool. And I wonder if that style of management that you have and that you have been growing up into, do you see any resemblance to what we are doing here at the conference? And I think even there was a talk yesterday on that line, right?
Yeah, exactly. When I heard the presentation yesterday, it was so aligned to the way that I am actually leading my teams. So I think it used to be a trend, right, and technology to create these safe environments. And at the beginning, or maybe when I started, I remember it was kind of hard. You receive a lot of push, from different side on the management. And then I think there were a trend to create these environments. And I think right now, and also something that I heard yesterday, is that everybody is trying to be in this kind of environments. Everybody's looking for it. And I think as managers or anybody that is in a management position need to try to create it because that's going to be, it was a trend, but right now I think it's kind of the reality that everybody's looking for right now.
It's, yeah, because everybody wants to be in a nice place to work. You don't
Yeah.
want to be, um, they say, and I remember these memes like, do you want a boss or do you want a leader?
Mm-hmm.
Someone that is also helping you rowing together and learning the new tools so that they can bring it and share it with the team. And I wonder, now moving on a little bit to your participation this day, because it's this day, later today, she's going to be standing up in stage and showing up who's the boss. No, I'm kidding. Uh, do you mind sharing what is going to be your talk about? What are you going to be presenting today?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to talk about the impact of the usage of AI. Right now, the role of QA has changed a lot in terms of what we needed before, for example, from a manual tester perspective
Mm.
or an automation perspective. And in my case, I had this great opportunity on being initially a software developer, then I moved to a manual tester, then I moved to automation, then I moved to I was doing performance and then I was in the leadership position. So I kind
Boy,
of,
you have done everything.
yeah, I kind of and I had the opportunity because sometimes you don't have it, right? So I was able to take pieces of different things that I was able to do when I was working as a QA. And, when I took this leadership position, I saw which kind of things you need for each role and which kind of things you are struggling. And now that we have these AI tools and everything has changed because of AI, how the different processes and the profiles and everything has changed. And also, I'm going to share some story that actually I live with my people, in this kind of a way to help them to grow and how AI tools was helping them actually. And right now, for example, in the past I used to have my manual testers and my automation people, but now I had my QAs, right? So we're able to say, okay, we need to do this and this, and there is no, I am not gonna do it because I'm not automation and the automation person needs to do it. Or the same with automation, right? That they used to be more technical, more coding, and they are like, I don't know, I'm gonna give this error to the QA so that the QA can understand the error and report it to the dev team, right? So all of that gap that I saw in our department in the QA side were completely closed because of the correct usage and the open conversation about introducing AI to the QA process. So that's the main point on this presentation.
That's very interesting how this small change from your manual, your automation to we are all QA, we are all engineers in this team. How can that make the team open up?
Mhm.
Still, we haven't left this side of management and being a good leader, where I think Karime is showing very well her expertise
Thank you.
and good practices that she has been applying. And I get curious. I got curious when you were mentioning like the team embracing AI, embracing some of these tools. We, I hope we are not spoiling too much your presentation,
Okay.
but yeah, what type of activities, what type of tools, what they are kind of like leveraging nowadays?
Yeah, I think, I would say since November on 2022 was when ChatGPT was open for everybody. I would say that everything goes around it. There are, of course, different tools that can be used according what you need or the different needs. But I would say that the first thing, and in general, everybody's kind of using it with the different models that right now, we can switch depending on what you need or what you have. So using the chat gpt as a helper, as an initial helper, I would say that was the first step. And then it's the same tool that is actually, and of course this kind of conferences and anything else, depending on new tools or understanding which other things you need to use, right? Because the good thing on AI is that the tools that we are discussing maybe today, in a month maybe they will change, right? Or maybe there will be something that is even better and better and better. So I would say that, for example, in my case, I was never in that direction on saying, okay, we're going to use this tool and this is the one that you have to learn how to use and you have to train it, right? So it was more like an open action, so anybody can decide what to do. Some of my guys are really good using Copilot and having it installed, because they need to do some coding.
Mhm.
For other tasks, it's going to be ChatGPT. For other task is going to be like Perplexity. For other tasks, some people, I saw this VO is the VODO, like VODO.
Mhm.
It's a like a plugin that you can put in your ID, and it's really nice. I was actually using it because one of my guys told me that it was even better than the Copilot, and it was just went out, and I was trying to use it, and it was really nice. And I would say every day, there are something else, some new tools for everything, right? So in general, they had like this free option on deciding what to use, how to use. And as we had this like a good conversation with them in the one-on-ones, they are always sharing like, hey, I heard about this tool, I'm using for this. So depending on what you need, you can use different tools that are going to help you or improve in that specific task that you have, right? So that's
That's when you said like, yeah, this one is better than Copilot. That's a bold claim. Uh, but it's interesting because you say there are new tools that are coming up all the time lately, even more. And even the old tools, suddenly you don't know, and they have a new version of the GPT level or new plugins, or even I think Copilot now lets you pick different engines, right?
yeah, that's something that I saw with the VODO also, that you can, start the conversation asking for something, some recommendations for code, and then you can change, the model in the same conversation. It's like having different models for each question that you have under the same place instead of just moving around with different models. So
Mm.
that's something that I saw, that maybe yes, the Copilot have it, we didn't know, so we saw with this other tool and we were using it, right, in the same way. But I think at the end, that's the magic, right? That many things that at the beginning was working now has new versions, has new capabilities that we can actually apply and we can actually use. So that's the point.
All these changes, and it's funny because we were talking about this earlier. where, as you mentioned, I didn't know that Copilot had this. Well, it didn't a month ago, and now it has it. And by month, or even week by week, you keep learning. Like, now there's this feature, now there's this functionality,
Yeah.
now it does image, now it does faces, now it does music. I don't know. Um, what what is your process, or how do you keep up with all these changes? And
I think as this is really agile, let's say, I would say there are no real, I wouldn't say that there is a process, right? Because if you put a process, you're making it too strict. Right, you're saying, oh, first you had to investigate this amount of time and do this POC and then apply it. But I would say with the changes that we have with AI, we really cannot have that kind of things. Or from my perspective, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else think that we need to put a process there to investigate or to try something. But I think at least now, because everybody's working on it and everybody's trying to make it possible to everybody, I would say that the way to do is just to be, on top of the things and trying to follow even with some AI tools that are giving you the latest news on AI, right? So, or something like that. And then trying and see if you can actually use it properly, if it's optimizing something in your process, if it's helping you or not, and then you can change and use something else.
something interesting that you also mentioned, that are, I think, strategies that you use. I don't know if that's on purpose or just kept happening. Your team brings it up. Your
Yeah.
team comes to you like, hey, I found this new thing. And do you have any strategies with them for that?
No, no, no. As I said, it's really open in general. Sometimes, yes, when I see that the things are going too smooth and then we are just in our comfort zone and nothing is moving, sometimes I used to go and suggest some people like, hey, I found this. For example, the other day in the conference in Colombia, when they were talking about using selenite versus selenium, and it was showing how easy it is to migrate from selenium to selenite in the same framework. So, for example, that kind of things, they were not at the conference, but I was there. So I go and say, hey guys, did you heard about this? Why don't you try? Right? Because I think it sounds really good and it's going to be great for us to use it or start this transition. So I wouldn't say that it's something that, okay, we had to talk like an agenda on this.
Like a process or
Yeah,
setup
no,
set?
it's kind of open. Or the same with Dan, when some of the guys tell me, hey, this VODO is outside right now and it has this change on the model that I didn't know about the co-pilot in that moment. And I was like, okay, let's try it. Right. So it's like an open conversation where they can suggest something, I can suggest something, and then we can work together. We can make it work.
That's pretty cool, because it's really an open environment where I can tell your team feels free to, like, hey, Karima, we found this, or vice versa. You come like, yeah, I heard about this in the conference. Why don't we play with it or give it a try?
Yeah.
Which I think it's the best thing that we can do and that we should do, because at the speed of things happening, you were saying, I didn't know that Copilot had this option. It didn't.
Mm,
Now it does, but
yeah.
it's just a month of difference of when it didn't and now it does, and what is going to be available next month.
Yes.
It's going to get crazy. I think, like, that's what we were talking earlier. The speed of the pace of the changes that we are experiencing right now, it's not going to get easier, right?
Yes, yes. I think it's going too fast and we need to be ready for it.
What recommendations would you give to the people listening to us or watching to I mean, you already gave some of your tips, but to keep up, to try to experience all these new things that are coming, and, like, give the audience a recommendation as if they were your team.
Okay. Okay. I would say that always try to keep learning and try to be more open to, in the past, I think we tried to get or to be a specialist in some tools. But right now, we are not in that moment anymore. And right now, even if you want to try something new, you know that maybe all of this knowledge will be kind of applicable in the future, but not exactly as you know. And you need to be open to that, open to the change. I think right now more than ever, we are at that moment where, something that used to work, it was okay, but now it could be even better if you are ready to learn and if you're open to change. So that's gonna be my advice.
Willingness and openness.
Yes.
That's super important, because I love what you were saying. We were specialists in a tiny little bit of technology tool or things to do, but now we need to be a little bit like generalists, be able to pick up on the new trends, on the latest new AI tool of this month, because the next month is going to be a new one, or next week, I don't know. uh, and keep learning. That's a very good one. That I think it's a great recommendation. And now, I know that being mindful also of the time, and that you very soon have to be downstairs at the stage presenting um, your talk about the AI game changer, transforming QA teams from anxious to audacious.
Yes.
I knew it by memory. No, the agenda is back there. um, Karime, for the people that are interested in following up with you and knowing a little bit more of your presentations, your talks, your experiments, where can people follow up with you, find you?
Okay, yeah, in general, it's more on LinkedIn. I think I told you a year ago that I'm gonna start blogging and doing something like that,
Yes.
but I didn't yet, right? So I need to take the time, as we were discussing also before. I think right now we had like too many things to learn that suddenly, whenever you want to say something, it has changed already. So I am struggling on trying to put something like a blog or a channel or something like that. So by now it's going to be mainly LinkedIn. I'm really open to new connections and even people that is sending me questions. I really like to have these conversations. So mainly on LinkedIn, you can always talk to me or find me there.
Look for, if here on the screen you can see Karime Salomon.
Hmm.
Look for her on LinkedIn, add her, like, reshare everything, because she's also active putting here and there what she's being up to.
Yeah.
And write a note. She's really, really good. By the way, she's also part of the Illuminati of the performance testing world. She participated in the Whopper, did an awesome presentation. I want to give a shout out. And
Thank
she's a
you.
rock star technologically. So follow up, subscribe. No, here's not subscribe. That's
It's
on
like
YouTube.
connect. Yeah, it's just
Connect,
connect.
and send her a note. She's really, really good. And she's going to be presenting many, many more things in the future. I have a feeling.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Leon.
Okay, well, that is the first interview for today. I have many more surprises today. We don't have an agenda, so it's truly going to be surprises. So stay tuned. This is going to be a busy day. Testing United Conference 2024, reporting from Vienna, Austria. And Karima, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Leon. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, and stay tuned, because we will be back with more fun in later. I don't know when, but when we get more victims. Adios, adios, Karime.
Adios.